The lying, the exaggeration, the hysteria, all the way from it in Azerbaijan.
This is another SOS to the planet.
If we can't stop the genocide in Palestine, we will not be able to stop the genocide that is coming in terms of climate violence.
And here you can hear the ABC once again pushing those dodgy scares like islands are drowning. Today again.
As the ice melts in Antarctica, it doesn't stay there. It strongly impacts places like the Pacific, where there are many low-lying islands.
He's worried that melting ice sheets could cause many metres of sea level rise.
When might we see progressive and unstoppable ice sheet retreat? There are some studies that show this could be already underway.
Spirits, this is so irresponsible that the ABC did not admit today what it was forced to admit 3 years ago, that in fact hundreds of Pacific islands were instead getting bigger. One study of 221 atolls said they'd grown by more than 61 square kilometres since the year 2000. Earlier study in 2010 of 27 atoll islands in the Pacific over several decades showed 43% had stayed stable in size and another 43% had actually grown, with waves dumping sand and crushed coral on them. I mean, seriously, why does the ABC ignore this cool science again and again and again? Joining me is the panel, Will Kingston, host of Fire at Will, a podcast from The Spectator on politics and culture, and Sky News host Danica DiGiorgio of Danica and James every Sunday here at 8 p.m. I mean, Will, there are three subjects where you know our media can't be trusted to tell the truth, the full truth. There's Donald Trump, race issues, global warming. Why is that?
Because most journalists have become activists, Andrew. The fundamental conception of the role has changed in the minds of most young journalists, from reporting what is going on in the world to trying to shape what is happening in the world. And it's a tragedy, and it's also why the public no longer trusts what was once a highly trusted profession. I'd also add, though, that I think there is a strong culture of ideological coercion at places like the ABC. If you were to come out and say what you just said in an ABC newsroom, you would be socially ostracised, you would be shunned, your future opportunities would probably be limited. And so I think that also forces people into taking those positions at places like the ABC and most other newsrooms.
Yeah, Danica, it's like a religion, isn't it? I mean, you know, for instance, here we've got an army that's short of soldiers, short of money, short of weapons. The Albanese government's got a Defence Forces to commit to and report on plans to go net zero. You know, saying, oh, it's going to explore using green aviation fuels on its jets or having electric bushmaster vehicles. I mean, seriously, would China be doing this kind of thing?
No, Andrew, China would be actually laughing at us right now. In fact, our enemies would be laughing at Australia, going, look at them. They've got a woke army who is obsessed with diversity and inclusion. They've even got gender-neutral names for some of their weaponry and machinery, and we can't even get recruits. And we're going down that path, and now, the cherry on top of the cake, Andrew, we're going net zero. Now, I can tell you that China are not going net zero when it comes to their army because they're too busy building their army. We may as well say, hey, look, we're open for business at the rate this army's going. It's just wrong priorities again.
Honestly, well, it makes you hope that China will take pity on us, and if we ever do have to use our electric bushmasters, that we are fighting somewhere where there's plenty of recharging station and the time to recharge them. I mean, the whole thing is so insane. You know, it used to be a joke arguing with the clouds. Now we're fighting them.
Yeah, it is insane. It's farcical. Like, in one respect, I want to laugh, but this stuff also infuriates me, Andrew, because it's one thing doing the whole virtue signalling nonsense in policy areas which are not life and death. Defence is not one of those areas. If you are not focused on the job at hand, Australian servicemen and women, their lives can be put at risk. So this sort of diversionary nonsense is just so morally repugnant to me, because for that very reason that this is something which we should be taking much more seriously than what we are.